Good evening, everyone. It's the Core 2, and we're back, sweetie boo.
Yes, we are in living color.
At the radio, I'm say this right, the Radio Therapy Network. Did you get that word, therapy? We're about ready to get some therapy tonight. You down for that?
I'm down for that.
So am I.
Uh-huh.
We've been going for a little bit, so we've been doing kind of like touring. Thanks to y'all, we've been able to do some seminars. What else we do?
Writing
Oh,
books.
that's right.
Yeah.
Write books, and Sweetie Boo finished her book. What's the name of your book, Sweetie Boo?
Calling all marriages. God wants you to have what you want. And it's scheduled to be coming out within the next month. I'm looking forward to it.
And now she ain't saying God is a genie in a bottle. She just saying if you're gonna do what the Lord wants you to do,
He's
you can
calling.
have what you want
Yeah.
if you're doing His plan.
Right. He's calling for your marriage.
So, being on these tours and doing the seminars, we really find out that we run into the same questions, the same problems, and a lot of always are centered around communication.
All the time.
And it's gotten to be where we came up with the same methods. We came back to remind you about some of those methods, which starts off with, when we call the cookie method. It's been proven, clinically proven, it works anytime you start a conversation with the word I instead of saying you do, you don't, I don't know why. If you just start off saying, I have a concern, and then state your problem.
Right.
It worked for you?
Well, yeah, the cookie method, it's a way to address the situation or an issue in a positive way. You start out like that. You state your issue, and then you end with a positive. So you've got that issue in the middle of those positive statements. So by doing it this way, both parties can focus on the issue and how to solve it without putting each other on the defensive.
And that's what happens a lot that we found out in a lot of people that we're counseling. The world makes you so defensive, keeps you in attack mode with your partner that you come home to that you love. You forget where you're at. You forget who you are because you've been out in that world defending yourself. If you're an Afro American person, you're going out there already with things in the back of your mind that you probably don't even think about. They're just loaded back there. What if this could happen? What if I get stopped? Then you come home and you have that same mentality
Mhm.
that you had out in the world where you had to be so defensive on your guard. Um, so it's getting to be a real problem when you don't learn how to just, hey, I'm a solver. I'm a king. I solve problems, especially when it comes to coming home.
Right. So it helps to keep that positivity flowing, and we don't have to start our issues with negativity. Start with something positive.
Yeah, and it really is. I tell everybody, it's a mindset. If I go into a situation and I think, oh, this is going to be a problem, it's going to be a problem.
Hmm.
If I think, man, my wife ain't going to like what I'm about ready to say, instead of saying she's going to appreciate that I thought enough and was confident enough, she gave me a safe place to know to say things that may make her uncomfortable. And it's all right to be uncomfortable. It's all right to have hard conversations. It's we all talk about, oh, we got to put a shield. I don't need to be bothered with this. I don't need to be bothered with that. If they're not going to be this way, all you're doing is just avoiding things. You're not solving anything. And that's what's wrong with this world sometime in relationships.
Yeah, and you're starting with a negative thought frame of mind, and so that kind of makes you carry the whole conversation into that negativity. But I'm reminded of the time you said that I came to you about our budget and how I used the cookie method on you, and so I came to you. and asked you about the budget because I saw an issue there. And once you looked at it, you immediately saw it. So you want to tell everybody about that?
My wife is an accountant by trade,
Mhm.
so everything is black, red, and yellow. So she saw that what she calls my girlfriend.
Golfina. Golfina be getting a lot of time out on that golf course. Hmm.
It went over budget. This is why I love my wife. This is why she didn't come to me and tell me I was spending too much, I was doing too much, why am I not following the budget? She just came to me, black and white, well, red, red, black, and yellow, and said, um, we need to move things around so you can play more golf. Now, being a man, you're gonna be like, no, I got this. I got this. I'll take care of this and get yourself back on track. Same thing with a woman. If she, I gotta stop for a minute and put a little note in there. Since I'm about to retire, but my wife's been retired for 3 years. I've noticed that women spend more money when they retired. I get a package every day. It has gotten so bad that if we miss a day, I get a knock on the door. Y'all all right, Joneses? From the UPS man checking on us.
So y'all know he's exaggerating, right?
I try to cover up if you want.
Yeah, well, I am. Me and Timu, we real close. We real close. So I'm saving them money because I'm using Timu, and y'all know Timu been on the discount. Y'all know now since these tariffs have gotten started. Timu kind of been moving up. I've had to back off just a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So start planning for your retirement like right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
What else have we noticed that we went out there? Because we've been talking to single women. So I had to tell this little story, help out the single women out there about right now. As a doctor at my job, she comes to me and she asked me, do you know any men? I'm like, I know a lot of men. I know a lot of men. No, do you know any, on my status? And I said, your debt? What do you mean on your status? It costs a lot to go to school. She said, no, somebody that, is making like 200,000 or something. And I said, all of them I know like that are married. So then I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I do know some brothers. Would you consider a teacher? And she kind of looked at me. I said, would you consider a plumber? Would you consider an electrician? She said, no. I said, would you consider a police officer? She said, yeah, I would consider a police officer. All three of them make more than a police officer. They more than a police officer. But it was the title of being a policeman in a uniform. And I'm just amazed of our mindset out there now. I mean, she's a good person, but I tell women, when you ask me as a man of God that you would like me to introduce you to a man, if the first thing out of your mouth is about his pay, or is he this, or is he that, and all things that can go away, money, job, career, you don't ask me about his character. See, a character will make you, when you lose a job, you'll find another job. When you lose a job or you lose your money, you'll find a way to make more money. There's something about men of character. And while we was doing that, a lot of women, I said, you look at some of them brothers in the Bible. You want a king? You may get a David. Womanizer, couple other things, So my thing is, we're all in the process, and know what kind of man that you want before you come up there. If you want a man of character, get a man of character. jobs and all that kind of stuff. I ain't saying get no broke dude and all that kind of stuff. But a man of character will take care of you. That'll be his number one thing, to be a servant leader to you. He'll make you become a millionaire, and he'll be happy just where he is. Just tonight, a friend of ours just told us here at the studio about it. Asked the woman if she met a guy who was a teacher, and he was happy. Being a teacher, he is happy. Would he be all right? He only makes 61,000. Would that be okay? No, I don't think so. See, that happiness will last longer than his money. Just a little stop there for a minute. What do you think, sweetie boo?
Well, me personally, I was looking for a regular brother
That's
who's,
what I am. I'm regular.
I'm
I like
telling
to
you,
mess with it. I know what you mean.
I was
Be
looking for
descriptive.
I was looking for a regular brother who loved God first, went to work every day, treated family and kids with love and affection. And I figured we could go from there. The thing that
Almost a quarter of a century. I'm hanging. I'm doing my thing.
yeah, we are easing up on 24 years
Hmm.
together, but I think one of the things that women have to think about is not only character, but if that man loves himself. If he's good with himself, he'll be good to you. We don't, sometimes we look at salary and we don't look at the fact of what kind of benefits he has, because I had a high paying job, but I didn't have any good benefits. Those benefits make up salary as well, and we never seem to get past the less than six figures to look at everything. He might be ex-military and getting another check coming in, but we don't stop to ask all the right questions. What's your relationship with the Lord? How do you feel about marriage? Do you want to be married? I mean, it's just a lot that we're bypassing instead of looking at character and other things other than salary.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna have to tap in on my brothers for a little segment. Just tap in on my brothers. I haven't got on the women. I'm gonna tap in on my brothers for a
Thank you.
minute. Yeah, I know you was waiting for that. I'm watching this show, one of the podcasts, and it was an older guy on there and two young guys not married, real successful brothers. And they say, well, hey, you the type of men that women are looking at this show and saying, that's the kind of man I want to marry, because they listen to you. So what's that process like for you? How long would it be? One of the brothers said, I don't know, about 2 years. I got to vent it. First year, get to know her, kind of vent it out. OG like me. And this is my nugget for you women out there. He was like, so you want to vet her for 2 years or so to get to know her. There's only 4 seasons in a year. What are you trying to get to know? You women out here that are hanging on after a year and the brother don't know what he want. Be for real. A brother really knows within, I say, we would say 3 6 months. Every guy I ask that's married. I'm talking about the brothers that are married. They say, "Oh yeah, I knew I was gonna marry her within 3 months. Or she was the one." Even if it didn't work out, they know. We know. Ain't nothing wrong with us. We ain't stupid. We ain't dumb. We know. But we want to see what you live. But all that kind of stuff, a grown man, I'm telling you, he has to vet you. A grown man asking you what you bring to the table like he's blind. I, I see what you bring to the table. You don't have to tell me in no form, shape, or fashion that you're an independent woman. I see that. I'm the one inviting you to the table. So if I invite you, being a king, being the head, I know who I invite to my house. Don't you know who you invite? So crazy questions like that, what you bring to the table, That's a Ray Charles brother, you know. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's my little vent about that, sweetie boo.
All
Did you
right.
have something to say over there, bro? I see our radio guy, our producer, the Radio Therapy Network. Uh, he's a young man. I don't know what's your take on that.
Well, I don't know if the people can hear me on mic, but I'll say this. I think I can't stand the question what you bring to the table. First of all, I tell ladies this: if a man asks you what you bring to the table, stop and ask him, what would you like me to bring? The reason you do that is because guys usually don't have an answer. They will only rebuttal what you say to make what you say you are minimalized. Second
Mhm.
of all, men worry more about who she is than anything else. I need to know who you are sitting at this table, not what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Who are you? Because when we got more, I need to know who you are. When we got less, I need to know who you are. When we sick, I need to know who you are. When I'm up, when I'm down, who are you? Because what you got can disappear, but who you are will stay.
That character, I like that, boy. That's a lot of nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Now y'all need to share and like and pass this on because there's a few of y'all. Y'all know some of y'all friends out there need men talking to you, not single men on podcasts telling you what you're not. Because we could be famous. I could do some of that Samuel stuff. Woo, talk about you. Don't have no answers, just tell you what you're not. And y'all women will be, because more women tuned into this guy's channel
Wow.
than anybody. And I say, all I have to do to get famous is talk about you like a dog, and you'll keep coming back because you'll say, oh, he talking about them. I ain't talking about you because you sitting there watching to this single man. Come on, stop that, y'all. If you go ask a man, you may say, well, he's old. Ain't nothing new under the sun. I hear women say, well, I'm different. You know, the guys tell me, I said, hold up for a minute. I bet you it sounds something like this. I've been out the game for a while, but I know what it still sounds like. You're different. I like the way that you move. You know, you're not like these other people out here. You a real solid woman. You know the kind I could take home and I could build something with. I bet you that's the same line or close to it. It's the same thing. Stop it. Stop it. Get to know his character because we all still saying the same thing. Well, I'm on my little roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my little roll.
Because you on one.
I want to talk about women's backhand compliments to the brothers. I'm helping everybody out tonight. I'm spreading it out. Have you ever told a man out on a date that he's different? He not like that other guy and the way he moves. I'm not trying to hear about somebody else. If you're going to compliment me without comparing me to some loser you was with. I'm just saying. Please, don't give backhand compliments. If you like how I'm treating you or how that young man is treating you, tell him, I like the way that you, and leave it there. You got one? You
No,
have me, so it's
I'm
hard to
just,
come up with stuff you try to say.
I'm just listening.
Go ahead.
I'm just listening. I was trying to think about how that incorporates into that cooking method. Is that you're saying to women, stop listening to all the negativity and listen to the positivity, the positive message, and
Well, I don't see people. I don't want them to get it wrong. When I
mhm,
say positive, doesn't mean that you're gonna hear all nice stuff. Positive
right.
means that I'm gonna make you grow. I'm gonna make you grow. So you may not like what I say.
Hmm.
You know, it's kind of like a daughter. I'm supposed to protect her. You know, you're my protector, daddy, and all that. So when she wants to go out in something that I deem inappropriate dress, and I say to her, no, you should wear this or that. I like you better when you look this, and I think that you'll get the kind of attention that you want. Out of her mouth is, well, you're old fashioned and you this and you that. And I said, along with protection, sometimes comes with restrictions. Like a brother when his woman is going out and he says, hey, baby, that's too tight. Well, I should be, see, you want him to protect you, but then when he protect you, oh, he's overbearing. He's this and that. No, it's my job. I have eyes. I know. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I know when I look at my wife in certain things, I know what I think. So if I see her dressed inappropriate, I know a lot of y'all won't like this. I'm going to say something. You have a right to do what you want, but it's also my job as a protector to say, if you're going to do this or that, these may be the consequences from doing this and that. You can say it's not fair. I'm not worried of what other people say, but that's not life. That's not life. You said okay? I'm just rolling. I'm just rolling.
Well, first of all, I usually ask you what you think about things that I put on anyway, so that I'm not inappropriate. Not because you dictate what I wear, but I want to make sure that it's appeasing to you first.
Oh, thank you, my sister. Appeasing to me first, and it goes vice versa.
Yeah.
And then we have a daughter when we were young who would also make sure that we represented her. Matter of fact, my two youngest daughters, they always want to make sure that we go out the house looking appropriate.
Yeah. They immediately say, okay, let's see, what are you all wearing? Let's go to your closet and pick some things out. So it's like, wow, okay, because they don't want to be embarrassed, is their excuse.
Yeah, but that one of those methods that we also use is to say what we think they said. You know what I'm talking
Okay,
about?
the repeat back method.
Yeah, repeat back.
Yeah.
Not what they said, what it sound like to you. You would cut out like 95% of your arguments if you just, instead of letting this roll around in your head, did she just say that to me? She done lost her. What? They get in an argument and just stand back to you. Were you telling me that you didn't like so and so? We got when the last time we did something like that?
I'm not sure, but it's amazing to me how uh, helpful that repeat back method can be, because sometimes one word can mean different things to two different people. And so when I repeat back to you what I thought I heard and paraphrase it in what I'm thinking, that gives you an opportunity to explain what you intended to say or what you really wanted to say, instead of me just taking what I thought I heard and running with it. And then later on, it's a big misunderstanding. I see that happening sometimes with couples, all because whatever the intent was misinterpreted, and nobody went back and said, well, this is what I thought I heard. It's usually after there's been a misunderstanding that you get to that point, you where you can straighten it up.
Yeah, like me coming from up north, I'll say I'm going to the market. I'll say I'm going to the market.
Hmm.
Down here, that means I'm going to the
To the
farmers
farmers
market.
market, yeah.
All right, so I go out the door, I come back. My wife like, how did you get back so fast? I thought you was going to the farmers market, and I'm like, no, I went to the market to get some food.
To the grocery store.
So I mean, little things like that. We always tell you we're real important about being uh, identifying and being descriptive when it comes to problems. Even so much as when you call your wife and you say, hey, I'll be home in 15, I'll be home in a few. I think that's most of us. Hey, baby, I'll be home in a few. Now, if you smart, you're going to say, what's a few? That's going to stop an argument right there. Just asking, are you talking about an hour? Are you talking about a half an hour? Because for me, a few means I'll be there within an hour. That's what it means. For other people, it may mean something else.
Right. And it can make a difference in whether, especially if you're trying to cook dinner and have it ready or hot
Young
or
folks don't know
prepared.
nothing about that, baby. They ain't getting that kind of treatment. They ain't getting that kind of treatment. I ain't getting that kind of treatment, boo.
Well,
you treat me good, yeah.
Okay.
They getting stopped at KFC and pick up something.
Or maybe you're planning on stopping somewhere and you want to know about what time you need to be home or whatever. But sometimes it's best to be more definitive on time. And I'm not saying every time, but I'm just saying that sometimes just repeating back what you think you hear helps avoid misunderstandings, because it's so easy to misunderstand a wording or a scenario, an intention, when you don't repeat back what you think
they said.
Not, right.
What you have up in your little bitty mind. A little earlier, you talked about intent and impact. I want to talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
Because I know it's been times in our relationship where my intent was to be the man that you wanted to be, but my voice, my tone, the way I came across to you, the impact didn't quite match my intent. And we really have to be careful. I tell this story for the brothers. I had a young lady come up to me. Me and her father was best friends, and she told me she had been abused. In my mind, I was puzzled why she didn't go to her father, because he's a loving, good man of God. He's just a loving, good brother. And I was wondering, I just told her, oh, okay, we'll handle it. And I, talked to her. Later on, I asked her, I said, why didn't you tell your father? Her father had mentioned to her many times, if anyone ever harms you, I'll kill him. I heard him. She didn't want her dad to go to prison, of course. She wanted to protect her dad. So that's what I mean. One of the things, even in not just in relationships, just being a man, our intent and impact need to match.
Yeah.
Because being in a relationship, you love each other, and you get into these little petty arguments. And if you just stop and just ask, what were you trying to convey to me or say to me? I know you love me. I know you care about me. What are you trying to say? And how my impact it is? Because we hear this a lot in counseling. Well, I shouldn't have to tell them. I shouldn't have to say. They ought to know better. Like, you're not trying to have a relationship. You're trying to have some robot that you program. Not everybody's programmed the same.
And I think sometimes one way to get back to that is to say maybe because sometimes when the impact is what you consider to be harsh, you go back and ask the question or say, I feel like this when you were talking about that
technique.
And I just wanted to know what was your intention when you were speaking that way, because it made me feel like this or that, and I wanted to make sure my feelings were not in the way and understand what you were trying to say, because I feel a way about that, or I want to understand, or I'm looking for an explanation so that I interpret things right instead of coming with the well you said and you were like this, and so I just want you to know, and because that
Do that face again.
I just want you to know. And you know when you use that face, uh, it's it's not going to be good because you're going to get a comeback with a different kind of face and and maybe some more tone. So sometimes when you use the I statement and you are asking, that's another thing that's real important. Sometimes instead of telling, when you're asking the question, I just need to know. I want to understand.
No, I'm married to Miss Lana Jones. I don't never tell her nothing. I sure. I don't work past that. I don't tell. What do you think? What do you like about this? Could we do this? Uh, and she has mastered that too. Whenever I come up with an idea, when I wanted to start a church, my wife was not how. She said, let's figure out what we can do. Let's get a plan. A lot of guys I hear, probably women, but I'm here mostly from guys. They have dreams, they have visions. They come to their wives and they'll say, hey, I want to, I don't know, it could be anything. I want to do marketing. I want to be a podcaster, right? We ain't got the money for that. You got something different every time. You crush someone's dreams instead of just saying, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. What can I do to help you? Do you know how much better your life would be if you just support each other? You say, well, they come up with these crazy ideas one by one, saying, hey, baby, that's your opportunity to help them. Oh, I could help you get a business plan, or I can help with this. With GP Chat, nobody should not have a business plan or a plan set out. It is just so easy now to envision. What happens if he does fail? He's going to look at you and say, oh, she got my back. I'm going to do better next time. I mean, giving a man or woman a safe place like that where it's all right to fail. Because in our lives, if you really think about it, how many times we fail. Maybe I shouldn't call it fail. I've always called it falling forward because
Right.
I'm saying I always feel like when something doesn't go my way or how I thought it should go, I don't think of myself as failing. I think of myself as falling forward to a new opportunity.
And it's a learning opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, when things don't work out the way you think they should, you're better able to help someone else to avoid those same pitfalls. A lot of times, you're able to do it better the next time. And you've said it so many times before, which I think is so helpful. When someone is explaining to you something that they want to do, rather than coming off with a bunch of statements, to ask questions like, okay, so what does that look like, or tell me more about it, or how do you plan to do that? Just asking questions kind of helps them think through the process as well. But more than anything, it's a learning opportunity for everybody involved. Is usually what happens. You learn a lot.
Sure do. And I'm glad that we have been able to support each other. You going to school, me with the podcast. It's always something with me, y'all.
Yeah, podcast, church, ministry,
Yes.
helping people. The good thing about it with us is we kind of have like passions as far as helping people and doing things. So whatever, my husband, I always tell people this, and maybe some women don't understand, or men even, is my husband has always been the visionary. I know where my strength is, and my strength is being the background worker. I don't have a problem being the background worker, because I'm not one that likes to be out front all the time. But my husband is the visionary, and so whatever vision that he comes up with, I know his heart is in the right place, and it's going to be to not only help us but to minister to others. So I don't have a problem supporting the ministry that will help others. Even not necessarily a ministry; it's just who we are. Uh, and we've been like that since we've been married.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a problem for us. Now, sometimes, my husband will give you the shirt off his back. I have to say, hold on, babe, we're gonna do this, and then let's see how much they do. But we are able to bounce things off each other and be supportive.
And when you hear my wife talking about in the background, she's beside me. When she decides to do something, a garden, go back to school, got enough degrees to me, but I'm right there. Yeah, go ahead, push it. So we push each other.
Right.
I've been debating about when I hear people say that they want, and I'm just going to talk about the married men that I know. I want someone different than me. I don't want that. I want someone. By the time I hit 40 something, I kind of know I want someone that's like me. I'm not a bad dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I ain't talking about personality. I want someone that's a giver. I want someone who listens. I want someone who likes to laugh and play and smile and have a good time. I want someone like me. I don't really want that polar opposite. It may work for some people, but I don't really want anybody that's really opposite of me. That's me. I don't know about you.
Well, you know how sometimes people tell you, they've told you, don't tell Sister Lana because, she's a stick in the mud, because I'm the serious type. But, at home, I'm goofy. I laugh a lot. My husband tells me all the time how funny I am. There is like a different side of me, but out in public, I'm a little bit more conservative. So I'm different in that way, but a lot like you in other ways.
She's very goofy. We dance around the house. What else? We have some upcoming things coming. We're going to let y'all know. You'll start to see us do more live at the Radiotherapy Network. If you want to start your own podcast, we always promote people to put their thoughts and words out there. You can contact the Radiotherapy Network, or you can contact us and we'll put you in contact with the person. I think we're at the end almost there, my producer.
So did we want to talk about the be still method? Because I wanted.
Go. That's your method.
Yeah.
She won't let me go without talking about it's our method. Go ahead.
Let me tell you why I want to talk about the be still method. Okay.
Talk about the be still method.
Because maybe you're like me. It's like when you hear a certain tone, or you're talking, you're having a discussion about something, and you're feeling a way, and you tend to shut down. Well, be still method doesn't mean you just be still and do nothing, shut down, don't talk no more, ain't got nothing else to say. What it means is you are actively listening. And when I say actively listening, I mean you're really trying to hear what the other person has to say. Because if a person is talking to you about something that's bugging them, some kind of change needs to happen. It may be with them or it may be with you. And shutting down is not going to solve the problem. So you're actively listening to hear what they're trying to say so that you can learn how to work through this issue. But what a lot of us do is we're listening to see how we're going to rebut what they're saying, or how we're going to answer them back and get them told. And that's not the intent of the conversation, or it shouldn't be. What you're doing, if it gets to the point that things are so heated, take a break and come back. You don't want to take a break and break forever, because then it becomes stonewalling. And stonewalling is when you never talk about it, and all that's going to do is keep adding up. You'll never get anything solved because you won't talk, you won't communicate. Take a break, pray about it, go for a walk, go to the bathroom, do whatever you got to do, but come back and solve the issue. Come back and talk about it. Sometimes you might have to do, there have been times I had to go do a breathing technique, take some deep breaths.
She ain't talking about when she was with me. I don't know what she's talking about. All right, brothers. I'll give y'all one since she had one.
Go. There you
Just
go.
excuse yourself and say, I got to go to the bathroom, babe. I'll be right back.
But come back. Come back. But
you got your still in there.
I got my be still in there. Yeah. Because we need to know it's okay to be still, but you still have to come back and solve the problem.
I hope this was a blessing for everyone out there. Look forward to interacting with y'all. Please put down the comments, your thoughts. Either of you just put yes in there, it helps us. You put amen in there, it helps us, right? If you put a bad comment in there, it helps us. But right. You meant for evil. All comments help out. All likes, all shares help us out in this ministry. And that's what it is, a ministry. You good?
I'm good.
All right. You can find us on Facebook at The Core 2, right? You can find us on YouTube at The Core 2. And you put in with Fran and Lana. And our website is thecore2.com. We started counseling. We got, we're certified Christian counselors. We got certified by
SYMBIS.
SYMBIS.
And the National Association of Christian Counselors.
And on our website, we got resources. If you premarital tests and marital tests, got free ebooks on there. And we're still growing that site. So God bless each and every one of y'all. Oh, do you have anything there, the producer? He's gonna let us go. Oh, I love gospel music. I know some few people out here. It's 88.1
WHOV iHeartRadio.
I hope y'all could all hear that. 88.1 on iHeartRadio. You see our producer, good looking dude, but he married, but he good looking dude. And they put out some good music. It's out of Hampton, out of the college. All right, let's support each other. God bless.
Amen. And don't forget, let's communicate
and talk later.
All right.
We're off.